Go through the quick rundown of the events that eventually led to this person's arrest, starting with the pet store accident. What happened there?
Sure. Officers responded to a collision over on Montgomery Drive on Monday evening. I believe was the first, and they had reports of a vehicle into a building. It turns out when officers arrived on scene, there was a vehicle, Toyota I believe, into the side of a building, or into the front of a building, Village Pet Stores on Montgomery. The gentleman was contacted who had been driving the vehicle, and he was subsequently arrested for driving, suspected driving under the influence of drugs and or alcohol.
But he was not held.
He was taken into custody initially and then cited out for the jail, Sonoma County jail policy, and released from custody.
Okay. Was this because he had no drugs or alcohol in his system?
It's their policy, typically because it's a misdemeanor arrest. They'll cite, once they feel that they're okay to go out back into the community, instead of holding them, they'll cite them with a court date. So typically, like if you were to get a ticket, you have a court date where you respond, well, the jail can authorize the same type of thing.
Okay. And so that was Saturday?
That was Monday evening.
Monday evening. Okay, and then what happened after that?
So he was released, and then yesterday afternoon at about 4:50 in the area of the 4800 block of Montesino Avenue, officers responded to a major collision involving about 4 vehicles, and realized that the same gentleman who had been arrested on Monday evening for the incident at Village Pets was the same driver who caused the collision over on Montesino.
And now in a different car.
In a different car, correct. Yes, I believe it was a Chevy he was driving.
Okay, yeah, I think I heard it was a Suburban.
Suburban.
Something big.
Yes, correct.
So describe the amount of damage that Suburban or Tahoe or the large truck did when it was traveling through there.
Major damage. 4 other vehicles were impacted. Debris all over the roadway, and the roadway was actually shut down for several hours.
What did the officers do when they discovered that this was the same person who had been detained for the previous accident at the pet store?
Right, so they conducted an investigation as to the reason for the collision, and ultimately determined that he was having some health issues, some mental health issues that possibly caused the collision, but the investigation is still pending.
Okay. The 2 cars that he was driving, did either of them belong to him? Was he driving them legally up to the point of the accidents?
As far as my understanding, he was driving them legally in the first accident. As far as the second accident, I don't know the status of his license. I also don't know right now if those vehicles were registered to him.
Okay. But nobody's reported them stolen or any major issues
That's
like
correct.
that behind them?
Yes.
Okay. As far as the other cars that were damaged, any other injuries, any people in those cars at the time?
No, we were very fortunate. They were all unoccupied vehicles that were parked on the roadway at the time of the collision, so there were no, the driver of the subject that we contacted, he had minor injuries, but no other persons were injured.
Okay. Did it appear, I mean, in terms of an accident investigation, single vehicle accident, he simply lost control of the car while he was driving? Was there, maybe, did witnesses report any other cars, road rage or anything?
We believe at this time it may have been an intentional act, that he possibly may have been trying to hurt himself. We don't believe he was trying to hurt anybody else, but maybe himself.